Welcome in, everyone, and thank you for listening to the 260th ever episode of the Missouri Sports Podcast, brought to you by 106 Apparel and recording from the MSP studio in beautiful Springfield, Missouri. I'm one of your hosts, Cameron Albert, alongside my good friend and fellow Mizzou fan, Kyle DeVries. How you doing today, Kyle?
Doing great, Cameron. Excited to bring back SEC Pick-em this week. Do a little 7-on-7
Oh, yeah.
drafting.
Oh, yeah.
Watch a little Mizzou football
Oh, yeah.
this week. It's a good time to be alive.
They're wearing their all blacks uniforms with the oval, tiger oval
Delicious.
logo. You like that?
Yeah.
They were talking about helmets on Discord and brought up the diamonds in the gold stripe on the helmet. It's still undefeated
Nice touch.
helmet as far as I'm concerned. Will we see the Block M this season?
Absolutely.
Is that how it's going to be going forward? They just work that in from time to time?
I would guess so.
I like that. Yeah, so it's week 1. Playing on Thursday night against South Dakota. We'll be previewing that game. We will just give some final thoughts on the season as it's about to kick off. We'll do SEC Pick'em. We'll do 7-on-7, all of that. But before we do, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Leave us a review wherever you listen to us. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Missouri Sports Pod. Actually, real quick, I wanted to mention, you may have heard last week we had ads on our show. We signed up for an ad marketplace through Podbean where we upload our podcast every week. And basically, we've been on that platform for almost 2 years now, and we must have just recently crossed some kind of threshold where they are putting ads on our episodes that go out across Spotify, Apple, wherever. So that's new. We'll be monitoring that on the back end to make sure those aren't too terribly annoying for everyone. And if you heard an ad for a company that you love, just rest assured we love them too. You should support them. If you heard an ad for a company you hate, we hate them too. We denounce them and their products. Don't even worry about it. We're on the same page there. But yeah, we'll try to make that to where it's not too annoying. And if you want to be guaranteed an ad-free experience, that is available on Patreon. So go over to Patreon. I'll be uploading all the episodes there with no ads. If you like the ads, don't go there. Did you like the ads? I never actually heard an ad.
I never heard one. I actually listened to the Spotify and Apple podcast version of our podcast last week and never heard one.
No, me neither.
But had a few people reach out and tell me that they heard them. So
yeah,
it must exist.
Yeah, it sounds like they were getting placed in weird spots. The computer just does all that for us, but I can go in and fine tune that a little bit, try to make it not so jarring or annoying, like I said.
And if you want to be part of an awesome Mizzou community, you can be a part of our Discord channel through Patreon as well.
Yes.
Good group of guys on there.
We're ready for the season to start.
We're going to be sweating out those games soon together in there. So lots of fun.
Fun place to be. Kyle, we did our season projections, season preview, went game by game, gave our picks for the record at the end of the regular season last week. And I thought I would go back and see how well we've done with those predictions. Going back, looking at every year that we've done this so far, which was 4 times before this year.
It's a little scary.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. So let me take you back for a second. I won't spend too much time on this, but let me take you back for a second to 2019.
I have no idea what's about to happen.
Barry Odom was the coach, okay? We had just landed Kelly Bryant in the transfer portal. Okay. And we were pretty excited. Would you like to venture a guess what we thought the record was going to be at the end of the season?
I don't know. Based on what you just said, we probably said 8 or 9 wins, right?
We both said 10-2.
No.
Yeah. They ended up going 6-6 that year, but that was the year it started off with a loss at Wyoming.
Yikes.
But then they won 5 in a row after that. So in an alternate universe, they're definitely 6-0 before losing 5 games in a row, which is what happened in real life.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. There was something weird that happened, and Kelly Bryant like spiraled out of control or something. Like
Yeah,
we
Taylor
went to,
Powell played a few games.
yeah, we went to that Ole Miss game. It was like homecoming.
Yep.
And they won. Everything was
5-1
in the
at
world.
that point.
They were in first place in the SEC East.
2-0 in the SEC.
And then something
Lost to
happened.
Vanderbilt.
Yep, just the wheels came off.
We were talking about in that preview, we were talking about them potentially losing 2 out of the 3 that were in a row, at Kentucky, at Georgia, home to Florida. We were like, hey, that's the tough stretch right there. This is a manageable schedule outside of that. And all of that is true. Absolutely should have been 8-win minimum that season. I won't spend as long on the rest of these, but in 2020, that was the SEC only season because of COVID. I was giving you a hard time in the preview because you picked them to go 5-5. And this was like a reset year, new coach. Last year's expectations, crashed and burned. So I had them going 3-7, and they actually went 5-5. So congratulations there. 2021.
You must have been a little scarred from the previous year.
Definitely. Yeah, you can see there's a pattern here.
We started healing.
You start
maybe?
to notice, yeah. So in 2021, we were a little bit more optimistic. I said 8-4. You said 9-3.
Oh, here we go.
And they went 6-6. Then,
that was, you gotta let's think of the context.
Bazelak coming back,
exactly.
Yeah,
and that year kind of spiraled in a way that we didn't expect it to. Also, so
yes, exactly. So then again, we're adjusting our expectations. Last year, I predicted 6-6. You predicted 7-5. They went 6-6, which is insane. There's 4 seasons there. Perfectly 500.
So basically, what you're telling me, every single year they just go 6-6, pretty much.
Yes, and we go back and forth between predicting more than that or exactly that. So last week I said 8-4. You said 9-3. So that's exactly what we did 2 years ago.
So I've been more optimistic than you every year.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Or we've been exactly the same. So yeah, I thought that was funny. 10-2, we both predicted.
That's a little embarrassing.
But it's right there. I mean, you lose to Vanderbilt, lose to Tennessee by 4.
That was a unique year.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. I'll never forget watching that Wyoming game with family around and then being like, walking through the living room and being like, Missouri? What's going on here?
It's a bad place to be.
Yeah, no fun at all. Anyway. Go back and listen to last week if you missed that, our predictions for the full season. And you said 9-3.
Stand by it.
Okay. Let's see here. Any news this week? Coach Drinkwitz gave a press conference. He updated some injuries and stuff. Chad Bailey all Drink would say is he had a procedure. I watched the press conference. He started to go into a little more detail, and he stopped himself and said a procedure.
Yeah, he also said he's going to be out for exactly 21 days.
Yeah.
So, man, I guess that modern medical care,
got those timelines.
They have them really ironed out. So, yeah, it sounds like Chad Bailey, whatever the procedure is, he'll miss at least the first game, maybe the second game. I would expect Damian Wilson to get in there quite a bit as they kind of play the same kind of interior linebacker position. I think a lot of people were asking about Tristan Newsome, and I think just the nature of this game against South Dakota, we will probably see him in there quite a bit, but I don't think he plays the same position as Chad Bailey. So Damian Wilson will probably get the start.
And then another update. We kind of thought this might be happening when Coach Drink said that Isaac Thompson had a lower body injury. He's out for the season. I don't remember if we got, like a month ago, Drink said a knee, lower body injury.
Yeah.
He kind of corrected himself there.
Yeah, it sounded like there was the injury. They reported the injury, said it's going to be a while. He's going to miss fall camp. And then I think a couple weeks later, they said it's going to be, I think he just said it's going to have surgery and miss the year. So unfortunate start for him, but the beauty of college football is you've got a long time to work yourself into the rotation, especially with a redshirt year and all that stuff. And typically, young guys don't play for the first couple of years anyway. So I think he'll be just fine.
So with Chad Bailey, did you hear I mean, I guess I could do the math here, but so we're looking at that Kansas State game.
That's probably going to be his first game back.
Okay.
So not super ideal.
Yeah,
but
I can deal with that.
That's
though.
okay.
I'd like to have him back for that game at least.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so before we preview the South Dakota game, I thought we could use an opportunity to just kind of make sure we haven't missed anything here and give our final thoughts on the season as a whole. I'm really looking forward to games because it feels like, for me personally, I'm like thinking too much about like, oh, how many wins do they need this year? What's Drink's future looking like? How is the season going to affect recruiting and all that stuff? And the games being here, it happening on Thursday is kind of reminding me to just like focus in now, take it one game at a time, like the players do, like the coaches do.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just a lot more enjoyable to not be worrying about the season-long ramifications of every single game.
Yeah, at some point it just becomes kind of rigid whenever you're thinking about, total wins, and we need some explanation in our lives. We needed some answers to the questions that we've had for so long. We need some nuance to kind of explain what's going to happen this season. And honestly, we're not going to find a whole lot out, hopefully, at least, on Thursday night. I think hopefully we're just blowing them out of the water, and we're still maybe asking ourselves some of these questions for another week. I can wait another week or maybe even 2 weeks if that means that we're putting people away like we were supposed to be.
Yeah, maybe you're exactly right. You don't want to find out too much against South Dakota other than you are an SEC team, and this is an FCS opponent.
But it's still going to be fun to see. I think we pretty much know who's going to start at a lot of these positions. A lot of the defense is returning, but it's still going to be fun to see snap counts and just who gets the start, who plays a lot, and who's making plays in general. All of those things are just. I'm so glad all that's back in our lives for sure.
The press tried to get more of an answer out of Drinkwitz on the quarterback situation and how he said multiple quarterbacks will be used in the first game, and they were trying to get more information out of him there, and he basically said, I'm not going to tell you. But he did say that they want to do it in a way where whatever quarterback is out there knows that they are out there for the time being, and they're not going to be pulled in the middle of a drive because of a bad throw or something.
Yeah, I think that's good. Let them get into a rhythm and give them a little bit of a leash to know that they can make mistakes.
So then the last thing, sort of like season long, that I want to talk about before we talk more specifically about this game one is the quarterback position. I thought maybe we would one more time sort of talk about what our hope is for this season and what we think is going to happen, specifically with the quarterback position. Because I feel like every day almost for a while there was rumors out of practice that one player is looking really good. And, we were hearing, oh, Garcia has the strongest arm in the quarterback room, and it's just really has a lot of zip on it. We were hearing that maybe Brady Cook has taken a step compared to last year. Sam Horn has been right there with Brady Cook every step of the way. So I don't know that we know a whole lot more than we have at any point, but how do you see it shaking out?
Yeah, man, I don't know. It's
what would be best case scenario?
I think best case scenario outside of just this season would probably be that Sam Horn just is the clear winner and takes us to where we want to go. There's no questioning who's the guy going forward. We can tell recruits that Sam Horn's your guy for the next couple of seasons. And we've talked about it ad nauseum, like that his ceiling is, we assume, so much higher than Brady Cook's or anyone else on the roster. That's obviously best case scenario. But at this point, I think that Sam Horn has been given opportunities to prove himself. And I guess at this, we got to put all of our faith in Drinkwitz here. And we know he maybe hasn't had the greatest track record with quarterback decisions in the past, but I still think we've got to put some kind of reasonable trust in the staff here that if Sam Horn was good enough to take us to a place where we haven't been, I think we would know at this point. And maybe he can do that. We've talked about how college players get a lot better with game experience. They get a lot better as they get older. He's still a redshirt freshman who's really not had any game experience before. So I still think that there's things that we don't know about Brady Cook. There's things we don't know about Sam Horn. And, I think we know what kind of competitor Brady Cook is. But I think that he can reach a level that maybe we haven't seen with him. I think he can improve, and knowing he played the whole season with an injury, I'm not ready to give up on him yet. And trust me, I will reiterate, I want Sam Horn to win this job, run away with it, and we ride off into the sunset. But I'm trying to be realistic that I still think Brady Cook maybe has another gear that we haven't seen. I'm happy to give him that opportunity to show that to us.
Yeah, well said. I mean, I can see if he has that next level that he can get to, and then his sort of the intangibles that Coach Drinkwitz talks about a lot with leadership skills and just really being able to command the offense. If Brady Cook unlocks something new, throwing the ball down the field, in these intermediate to longer routes, and maybe with Kirby Moore coming in to call the plays, they can get on the same page there a little bit better. But if he really does take a step like we see from like sophomore to junior year a lot of the time, then I don't think it'll matter. I think that's what I'm hopeful for anyway, that, Sam Horn has been progressing and maybe he's right there behind Brady Cook, but I would hope that if we're running it back with Brady, he's just shown enough in practices and in camps to be like, no, really, I have taken my game to the next level. All we can do is hope for that.
Yeah, it's gonna just be so fascinating to see how they do in game action, even against an FCS team, just in front of a crowd and with the lights on Thursday night on TV and everything. It's gonna be so fun to see who steps up, and maybe they both do.
I kind of hope. I think I said 3 quarterbacks in the preview that I would like to see 3 play. I think I'm still there. Give Brady Cook the whole first half. Give Sam Horn the whole second half, but then treat it like he's your starter, and then you bring in the backup for a garbage time series or 2 with Garcia at the very end.
And then maybe flip that against Middle Tennessee in week 2. Maybe Sam Horn
come out first.
Mm-hmm. Are you ready to go there yet?
I like where your head is at, but I don't think that I think Brady Cook is the guy as far as the coaching staff is concerned. I don't think it's going to look as... if you just watch the games this year, I don't think you would think it was much of a toss-up.
Okay.
But
it won't be as evenly distributed in those first couple games as we think it might be.
I think we'll be going into the Kansas State game feeling like Brady Cook is the starter, and we're happy about it.
Do you think we'll know for sure who the quarterback will be? Like
I don't think they'll say
our
it.
Week prep before that game? Or do you think we'll still be just guessing?
I think we'll be guessing, but we'll have a pretty solid idea that it's Cook, which is kind of like where we're sitting right now.
I think I agree with that.
But I do think there's like a optimistic angle to Cook being the starter as well. So with South Dakota, they are an FCS program. There's not a whole lot to say about them. They have made a lot of changes this past offseason. They replaced their offensive coordinator with somebody who runs a completely different style of offense. They're going from a run-heavy offense to a pass-heavy offense, led by Iowa State transfer quarterback Aiden Bowman. And that's pretty much it for their offense. They're going to try to throw it a lot, I think. Maybe it could actually be a disaster for them because
go right ahead.
All their players and everything were recruited into and have practiced in this completely different scheme than what they're going to try to run this year. If the offensive coordinator tries to do his thing, which he's coming from like the FCS national champion North Dakota team or somebody, I can't remember. So I don't know. I don't think they're going to do anything on offense. Maybe make a couple big plays over the top. And then the only player I wrote down to pay attention to for their defense is a linebacker named Stephen Hillis, who is a good player. Makes a lot of tackles.
Nice. Do you think that how badly does Missouri have to be winning this game for them just to sit the starters or move on from the first string players like after like halftime. Is that reasonable, or do you think that the starters will play longer than that?
It could happen. I think if the offense shows one thing that we haven't seen Drinkwitz offense do, in my opinion, maybe you can think of an example where I'm wrong, is like a game that you're supposed to win. I feel like the offense takes a while to get going.
Start fast.
Yes,
They don't do that.
Exactly. I want to see the offense start fast and score, go 3 for 3 on touchdowns. First 3 drives, touchdowns, something like that. This is the type of team you should be able to do that against.
Yeah, if you can't do it again in this game, we're not going to do it very often.
Right. And so I feel like what we're used to is Missouri coming out on offense and like their first 3 drives are a punt, a field goal, and a touchdown. It's like, okay, we're getting there. Yeah. We'll eventually get a double-digit lead and then a 3-score lead and put this thing away. But
like, you got to think the beginning of the game, that's some of the most important snaps. You're trying your hardest. You've got all your starters on both offense and defense out there in the first quarter.
You're acting like you're playing Georgia.
That has to be the most dominant quarter of the game, in my eyes. So I agree.
They'll have the first drive scripted probably for the offense.
Which is like ironic that tended to be our weakest part of the game last year. So maybe that will look different with a new offensive coordinator.
I feel like the defense does their thing no matter what. And the defensive starters will have done enough to warrant taking a break after the first half, I think.
Yeah.
It's all going to be dependent on whether the offense is doing their job. Yeah. We should be up. If we're up 3 scores by halftime, I think you pull the starters.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I would love to be up enough to where Luther Burden is maybe not playing much in the second half, unless we're maybe going for that Heisman campaign. He's going to maybe need those stats. But in all reality, I'm perfectly fine not seeing much Luther Burden. Maybe some of the stars on the defense too. But I don't know, man. It's like that's just another disadvantage for, I'm assuming, Sam Horn, if he's playing in the second half, if he's not playing with the same arsenal of players that Brady Cook is playing with. Mm-hmm. But
and that may be
hairs, maybe
your opportunity there to then flip it against Middle Tennessee, but it's a
little bit tougher game,
more losable game than South Dakota. Yeah. I would like to see whoever the starting quarterback is just get some rhythm going. Both of them, like coming out in the beginning of the second half too. Maybe you leave the starters in for Sam Horn in that situation, just so, like you're talking about, he's got the pieces surrounding him that are going to make his life easier.
Scale of 1 to 10, how crazy is Mizzou Twitter if Sam Horn is just trotting out there for the first snap of the game?
That would be pretty wild. I would be.
That'd be really exciting.
But that would be pretty crazy. Yeah.
I'd have a big old smile on my face, that's for sure.
And then the exact opposite thing is if Brady Cook is the starter and then like we go 3 and out on the first drive. I'm not going to want to be on the internet when that happens.
I hate to tell you this, Cameron, that's fairly realistic here. That's a pretty realistic outcome.
I'm not ready for that. Okay, well, I don't think we can talk about this South Dakota game much longer. Missouri's going to win big.
Yeah.
Just do they put it away in the first half?
Yeah, not? I think so. I think this will be an improved team, at least in the way that I think the offense will be improved in the way that they're just beating the bad defenses. And I think that's maybe like a step in the right direction, which they weren't even doing that last year. They were just scoring like mid-20s against anybody, no matter who they were playing. So for step in the right direction, I think they just blow this team out. I think they'll win like 52-10.
52 points is exactly how many they scored last year against Louisiana Tech in game 1.
Oh, okay. Well, the defense scored like 2 or 3 touchdowns in that game.
I was about to say the defense helped out on that point total there. Yeah, excellent prediction. I say give me 49-14 Missouri. Now, starting off 1-0, we have a couple other segments to do here. We are going to do our 7-on-7 draft. So if you're not familiar with this, every year we take a look at the Mizzou roster and we we do a draft, 7-on-7 teams, but the catch is the players play both sides of the ball like in the video game NFL Street. And they wear street clothes, like in NFL Street.
Of course.
They run up on the walls and throw the ball behind their back, all that stuff. They can do anything.
Game breakers.
Because this is all in our imaginations. So, we're each going to pick 7 players. Do you have your draft strategy figured out?
Sure.
Okay. And
I like to wing it a little bit.
It all depends on who gets the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Producer Cameron, do you have a coin for us?
Virtual coin, yes.
Okay.
That works.
You pick it.
Heads.
It is tails.
Okay. So I pick first, then you get 2 in a row, and then we go 2 in a row back and forth. With the number 1 pick in the 2023 Mizzou 7-on-7 draft, I am going to select Darius Robinson.
Okay. That's a good pick. I'm not going to lie, that's not where I thought you were going.
Okay. So you get to pick 2 players in a row now. I was trying to go for that positional scarcity.
That's a good decision.
Yeah.
He's going to play offensive line and defensive line.
Yep.
He's going to be pretty dominant there.
Yeah.
I think the tough thing here is what to do with your quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't decide if I want to keep pushing it off or if I should just grab somebody. But I know for a fact that I'm going to go Luther Burden for wide receiver and cornerback. And that's kind of where I thought you might be going.
Yeah, I know. I trying to switch it up here. I feel like I can do okay at wide receiver.
Okay. And you see, another kind of interesting thing is like, I could just grab Brady Cook, but is he the best player on this roster for this individual exercise they're doing here?
And it's the folks on Twitter that decide who wins this.
That's true. You might get a little bonus points with just the names.
Yeah.
I'm going to pass on quarterback for now. And I don't know what I'm going to do, but I think I'm going to pick Chris Abrams-Drain. Because Chris Abrams-Drain is going to be the other wide receiver cornerback for this team. He actually played wide receiver in high school and maybe even started off as a wide receiver at Missouri.
Mm-hmm,
So he's very multi-talented. And I like that quite a bit, and having Luther Burden and Chris Abrams-Drain on the outsides.
Yeah, excellent choices. I was trying to decide what I would do with the number 1 pick if I had it, and obviously Luther Burden, I would call him like the trendy pick probably, but so I've got Darius Robinson, and I make 2 picks in a row now. So I am going to stay on defense, and I'm going to grab Tyron Hopper. So I've got a defensive lineman. I've got a linebacker.
And where is he going to be playing on offense?
On offense, maybe offensive line, maybe a tight end situation. I'm pretty sure I actually did this last year.
Little hybrid situation going on?
I'm pretty sure I picked Tyron Hopper and did the same thing with him last year. So he's used to it now. He's practiced his route running in the off season. So yeah, maybe
very good.
My tight end. Now with my 3rd pick, I'm trying to stay away from the positions you've already picked because I feel like I can wait there. And now this little game, it's like maybe at quarterback and running back, maybe we don't care who we end up with in both of those positions. So I'm going to grab an important position that hasn't been picked yet, and I'm going to take an offensive lineman here, and I'm going to take Cameron Johnson. Some positional flexibility there.
Good pick.
And I'm sure he can, put a little bit of pressure towards the quarterback, maybe clog up the blockers, try to stop the run a little bit on defense.
Okay. I feel like in the past, typically we kind of gravitate towards just like all defensive linemen because they tend to be a little bit more athletic and stuff. But I'm also going to grab an offensive lineman, and I'm going to pick Armand Mimbu. And I think that he's just a superior athlete.
Yeah.
And we'll find a way to get him some valuable snaps, whether he's playing offense or defense. And I hadn't picked a lineman yet, so I kind of needed to get in there before you hog them all yourself. So that means I still need a quarterback, a running back, and then 2 more linemen, and a quarterback that will probably play like safety, and running back that will probably play like linebacker, or vice versa. So that means I'm going to go with Cody Schrader, who's going to play running back and probably linebacker.
Okay.
You think Cody Schrader could play linebacker?
Absolutely. He's tough like that.
He could hit somebody.
All right. So I have offensive line, defensive line, and linebacker. I'm going to... Now we're going to be picking the same positions here a little bit, cleaning up my roster. I'm going to select... I think I'm going to select... This is a weird pick, but I'm going to try to make it make sense. I'm going to pick Jamarion Wayne.
A little under the radar.
Wide receiver. He's probably like maybe number 4 or 5 wide receiver on this year's team. Super deep at the wide receiver position. But what's super crucial here is last year he spent all season with the defensive backs. So I've got a guy that can play both ways there.
I can appreciate a little deep cut in a 7-on-7 draft.
All right. So I get Wayne. And then I am going to... You know what? I'm doing it. For the second year in a row, my starting quarterback in the 7-on-7 competition is Brady Cook.
Unbelievable.
He's going to take us to the promised land.
That's why I just didn't really know what to do with him on defense. He's just probably going to be a little bit of a liability in the secondary.
He's fast.
But probably all the quarterbacks will be.
That's true.
So that means that I can kind of punt the quarterback position, at least for a couple more picks, since I don't think you're going to be taking a second quarterback. But I've got 2 more picks to make here. I only have 1 lineman so far, so I'm going to add Christian Williams to the line. And let's see.
Good pick.
Still need another lineman and a quarterback. So I guess
I'm not going to tell you what to do, but you maybe want to go linebacker. Are you thinking defensive line?
Yeah, because I think Cody Schrader will play linebacker.
Oh,
Probably,
gotcha.
So,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think I need to go third lineman.
Okay, yeah.
And let's see.
I know who I would pick.
Do you?
Yeah.
How about Javon Foster?
Okay, that's not who I would have said, but...
We're going to lock down the left side of the line. It might be a little bit of a liability on defense, but who are you going to pick? Well,
I would have gone defense and taken Realist George, probably.
That's a good... That's a pretty good pick.
Throw him out there, offensive line, see what he does. Slow somebody down a little bit.
I have 2 actual offensive linemen this year. I don't know that I've... That's, you know...
Pretty sure last year you had 0 actual
I don't know that I've ever drafted an offensive lineman before.
All right. So I am finishing out my roster. I'm going to take the easy pick here. I don't have a running back yet, so I'm going to take Nathaniel Pete. And then I feel like I could go a few different ways here. Got an offensive lineman, got a defensive lineman. I've got an actual linebacker. I think what I'm going to do is take Ennis Rakestraw.
Okay.
I think he'll have to try to play wide receiver. But if you've got Chris Abrams-Drain, I got to take it. Maybe, from a NFL prospect situation and like just who are the best players on this entire roster. It might be Rakestraw and Chris Abrams-Drain.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to go Rakestraw early, but there just wasn't really a place for him.
Luther Burden, I forgot about him. They'd be second and third behind him.
Right. Okay, so that means that all I have left is my quarterback, who will also probably play some kind of safety position. And that's not going to be Sam Horn.
Oh, okay.
It's not going to be Jake Garcia.
Okay.
It's going to be Jabari Johnson. And I'm not going to lie. I think that sounds kind of fun. I think he would do really well in this format.
Okay, yeah, playing both sides of the ball. I mean, Brady Cook, he's tough. Okay,
He is.
he'll hit you hard. He may not. What?
Yeah,
He can lower his shoulder. I've seen him do it.
okay.
He's not trucking people like Matty Mock exactly, but I bet he'll have a bold prediction. Brady Cook is going to have a Matty Mock-esque
He's going to have his Matty Mock James Franklin moment.
rushing moment.
Okay.
Yeah, for a touchdown, running somebody over.
I hope you were right.
It may only happen in this 7-on-7 event,
In our minds.
which happens in our minds.
I'll let
but-
it happen. That's fine. Just for the sake of imagination.
Okay, so the full roster's here for the 7-on-7 competition. Kyle selected Luther Burden, Chris Abrams-Drain, Armand Membo. Well, I lost track here.
Cody Schrader.
Cody Schrader, Christian Williams, Javon Foster, and Jabari Johnson. And I selected Darius Robinson, Tyron Hopper, Cameron Johnson, Jamarion Wayne, Brady Cook, Nathaniel Pete, and Ennis Rakestraw.
You've got a nice little squad there. I'm a little worried about your offense.
We've got, what do we got here? Cook and Pete in the backfield, Rakestraw and Wayne lined up outside, and Tyron Hopper trying to catch passes over the middle as the tight end.
It could happen.
You know, we're going to just do a lot of read option with Cook and Pete.
Just keep it on the ground.
And yeah, it's going to be a rushing attack.
That's
mostly.
fine. That's fine. My offensive lineman probably won't be able to catch you anyway.
That's true. Yeah. And Jamarion Wayne and Rakestraw, they're going to have their work cut out for them guarding Luther Burden and Chris Abrams-Drain. But, you know, I'm hoping that Robinson and Hopper can get to the quarterback and give Jabari Johnson some trouble.
Okay.
So we'll post a graphic that has our the formations and everything, how they would line up on the field. And we'll do a Twitter poll to see who the listeners think would win. Now, is that it? Are we ready for
We're ready.
ready to pick some games? So
Welcome back.
Welcome back. SEC Pick-em plus Nebraska. There's some new theme music for you. Let us know if that sounds familiar to you. And I just want to listen to that for a second.
It's good stuff.
Brings back memories.
Gets me in the mood.
So we will turn it over to producer Cameron. We have the producer cam, but we don't have it ready yet. We're still working on being able to switch between two cameras. We have the hardware. We're still figuring out on the back end. But soon you'll get to see his pretty face talking to us.
Yeah, it is pretty.
Gonna have to shave.
You get camera ready.
Oh yeah.
It takes Kyle and I like an hour and a half every day.
Do our makeup.
Look
Gotta
like
go to
this.
makeup before the show.
Yeah. So who's our guest picker this week?
This week, our guest picker is Matthew.
You're gonna have to speak up over that music now.
Is it too loud for you?
Either bring it down or bring you up a little bit, maybe.
How's that?
That's perfect.
Alrighty.
Matt's our picker.
Matt is
He's-
our picker this week.
He's going down.
Hopefully. Lots of big spreads this week, so we'll
Start a
see if
new-
anyone can.
Start a new campaign
Yeah, last year the guest
for the
pickers
trophy.
destroyed us. This is the beautiful trophy. You see it on YouTube.
Wait,
And-
you won last.
Yeah, I
yours
won
came-
last
The
year.
guest
Oh,
pickers
sorry.
won 2 years ago, I think.
You haven't put my plaque on the trophy yet?
I didn't know I had a plaque for you. Yeah, it does say 2021 Patreon guest pickers. Wow.
We're a year behind.
Yeah. We need to update that. All right, take it away.
Anyway,
Quest for the trophy.
week
begins.
1. Our first game is Florida at Utah. Utah is a 6.5 point favorite.
Now, there is a little bit of controversy here. That's the wrong word, but like there's a little bit of unknown because I think Utah's quarterback, who's really good,
Okay.
whose name escapes me at the moment, there was a chance he might not play in this game
Okay.
due to injury. So I'm not sure what's going to happen there.
I
but
say doesn't matter.
I think
Give me Utah.
I think Utah still wins regardless.
Utah all around.
Do you
Game
root
time.
for the? Do you root for SEC teams no matter what? Like in these like kind of non-conference situations.
I in this situation right now, with it's a game-to-game situation because Florida, I want them to look bad and be bad so that Missouri will beat them because they're bad. So
Okay.
I'm watching this game. I'm thinking, is it possible that Florida's bad? I hope so.
Okay.
If they won but still look terrible, cool.
Okay. I still think like winning would probably be like good though, right? Even that would be like the best thing for Missouri if Florida's like perceived as good.
If Florida beats Utah, they probably are good to some extent, and that would
Okay.
just worry me.
So now you're just scared. You're
Exactly.
playing scared.
That's sort of how I do it, yeah. Utah quarterback Cam Rising,
That's him?
staying prepared for Florida.
Okay, something to watch. That the line might do some funky
He
stuff
feels
too.
pretty good,
Okay, well,
he says.
go ahead, just play.
All right,
dramatic.
Game 2, Ball State at Kentucky. Kentucky is a 26.5 point favorite.
They can't score 26 points.
Kentucky, they win 27-0. I forgot to mention that how this works is you get 1 point if you get the matchup correct. You get 2 points if you correctly predict an upset according to the Vegas line. So an opportunity right here for you to pick up 2 points by picking Ball State.
Yeah, I wish I knew what like the biggest upset anyone has ever correctly predicted on this show. But I can't imagine it would be more than like 6 or 7 points. So 26 is a little too high for me. I'm gonna have to pick Kentucky.
I'll take Kentucky.
Kentucky all around.
27-0. That's my prediction for the score. They cover.
We'll watch your career with great interest.
Next up is Virginia at Tennessee. Tennessee is a 12 point favorite.
Where was it at?
At Tennessee.
Well, I was on this podcast last week saying Josh Heupel in Tennessee had a Mickey Mouse offense, but I still think they're probably going to win this game. Less
Yeah.
talent.
Is Virginia any good? I wouldn't think so.
I don't think. I doubt it.
Yeah, give me Tennessee.
Tennessee, Kyle. Tennessee all
Wait,
around.
what do you have on for the line on that?
12?
Huh.
What is it now?
I'm seeing Tennessee 28. Tennessee
That-
by 28.
That is because it is number 12 Tennessee.
You got his numbers mixed up.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Okay, number 12, Tennessee.
Yeah, Virginia at number 12 Tennessee.
Okay, Virginia's awful.
It is a 28.
28
line.
point favorite. Okay, yeah.
Wow,
Okay,
that's
okay,
a
okay.
bigger. That's
I'll take Tennessee.
It's very
Oh, yeah,
large.
yeah. Still Tennessee.
Yeah, Power 5 opponent.
Wow. Yeah.
Next up is UMass.
I think we're gonna be saying Tennessee's fraudulent, but I'm not ready to go there yet. But we might be saying Tennessee's fraudulent
Get the stamp ready.
at some point. Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, Cameron.
That's
Make sure
okay.
there's ink in there.
Yeah.
We haven't used it in a while.
That's true.
University of Massachusetts at Auburn. Auburn is a 35.5 point favorite.
Holy cow!
My God, who's
I'll
doing
take
these
Auburn,
lines?
but there's no way they win by that much.
That's just brand.
Yeah.
Bias.
Yeah, name recognition.
Yeah. Give me Auburn anyway.
Next up is New Mexico at Texas A&M. Texas A&M is a 23 point favorite.
Is A&M ranked?
Um,
I feel like this would be the game that would be like 30 something plus line. These are some serious games. I'll take A&M.
I'll take A&M.
I'm just shaking the rust off.
Oh, okay.
Shaking the rest off.
New Mexico at number 23 Texas A&M. Texas
having trouble with
A&M
numbers.
Is a 38.5 point favorite.
Now, what are the make believe numbers though? What are the wrong numbers?
It's their AP poll ranking. He's using that as
Okay.
the spread.
Bro's getting
Yeah.
scared of numbers. Okay, we're good.
He's seeing ghosts over there,
We're
folks.
good.
I didn't write my numbers in the same spot that I did last year, so we'll fix it next time.
Okay, we'll be fine.
It didn't
All's well
change
that ends
anything.
well. No, we're all taking A&M.
All right. I had to make sure I had the numbers right on this one,
Okay.
even though I just had to hope Kyle's telling the truth on this one.
Okay.
Number 21, North Carolina at South Carolina. North Carolina is a 2.5 point favorite.
That's
Now we're
what
talking.
I'm seeing. on
Now
my
we're
end, too.
talking. Yeah, did you fact check that?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just double checking everything. Just give me South Carolina.
Ooh.
Uh,
Little Drake May action.
yeah. Number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Just kidding.
He's up there. I wouldn't say number one.
Number 2. Gimme Who did Matt pick?
picked North Carolina.
You pick first.
I'm gonna have to. I want South Carolina to win this game. Redemption for Spencer Rattler. SEC represent.
Do it then.
North Carolina's gonna win the game.
Drake May, and they're playing. This game is called the Duke's Mayo Classic. Drake May, Duke Mayo.
That's pretty cool. That sounds like maybe a conflict of interest.
True. I'll take South Carolina.
Ooh, split decision.
I love it.
Okay, and next up we have number 5 LSU at number 8 Florida State.
Ooh.
LSU is a 2.5 point favorite.
I know Matt is already wanting to put the fraudulent stamp on Florida State.
Yeah, he's got LSU.
I'll just say it. But the storyline there is we want LSU undefeated, Missouri undefeated.
Give me Florida State.
Why does Matt want to do fraudulent on Florida State? Just because he picked LSU?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if there was an extra story there.
I guess he's not buying the hype.
He's not buying it.
Top 10 preseason. They haven't been good for a while. Right?
Yeah. I was trying to think of their coach's name.
I'll take Florida State. Mike Norvell.
Yes. Yeah, give me LSU. That's going to be a good one. That's Saturday night?
Yeah, that is actually Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, 6:30 p.m. on ABC.
Excellent.
You really want to know?
Can't wait. I'll be watching that.
Any
All
other
right.
games?
Unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
Last and certainly least, it is Nebraska at Minnesota. Minnesota is a 7 point favorite.
Where are we at with Nebraska? Okay, we got
Give
Scott
me
Frost.
Minnesota.
Matt Rule.
Scott Frost gone.
He's way gone.
So out of there. Matt
His
Rule.
legacy completely tarnished. That is what I've heard. They hate him now.
Never, ever.
Dead to me.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. That's proof. Never hire a former player, like a beloved player.
No,
Always fails.
just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Bring him to all the events. Use him for fundraisers.
Yes.
Don't make him a coach.
Yes. Yeah, Minnesota easily wins this game. Matt Rule, could he be good?
Yes.
Not in this game, but eventually.
Yes.
Now, he was the coach of your Carolina Panthers.
Was terrible.
Do you hold any grudges or?
No, I don't know what happened there. It was like we brought him in. He had some good ideas, maybe, but then it was like, oh, I'm just going to sign only players that played for me at either Temple or Baylor. And that kind of just
I hadn't really
makes your
thought about
talent
that.
pool shrink quite a bit.
I had not thought about that. Like, he's doing the like Robbie Anderson stuff or whatever his name was at the time.
Yep. Yeah, so that didn't work out well. We got Joe Brady. Remember him from LSU?
Oh, yeah.
He was going to come in and just,
Joe Brandon.
Yeah, exactly. But what happened with the Panthers was we went out and got Teddy Bridgewater. And that
Just settling for mediocrity.
Instead of just re-signing Cam Newton, we went out and got Teddy Bridgewater and then ruined everything.
That's why you
but
don't- that's
everything's
why you
fine
don't
now. Everything's fine now. We have our savior, Bryce Young.
Yeah.
He's looking good in the preseason.
Yeah. Okay, so Matt Rule
Yeah.
is back at Nebraska, back in college.
Yeah.
They're going to lose this game.
Yep.
Yes.
We're all on the same page there.
Okay, so we got a couple games where
So I'm rooting tooting for, who was it?
South Carolina
Flor-
and Florida State.
South Carolina and Florida State. Let's go.
Okay. Can't wait.
Two upset. Yeah, two upset opportunities.
We all
there.
picked Utah to beat Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hoping Florida looks bad, honestly. But they're just one of those teams in the SEC that we need Mizzou to beat.
You want them to unravel.
Yeah, maybe
them
it's
losing
early.
to Utah has nothing to do with the game against Missouri. Did you know that? Like,
I just want my take is Florida bad,
okay.
and I
Okay.
want that to be
There's a narrative
Yes.
you're buying into.
yes, exactly.
Okay, and you want people to associate you with that take?
Sure.
You ready to put your name on that?
Yeah, put my name on it and put my name on South Carolina. Starts out hot, flames out.
Anything else?
Put my name on LSU and Mizzou, both one-loss teams going into the big matchup.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, everybody.
I can live with it.
Okay. Any last parting thoughts? We're done with that segment. Mizzou football is back, folks. It's Tuesday right now. We'll get this into your ears as soon as we possibly can. And Missouri plays on Thursday.
I'm ecstatic.
Under the lights. Everybody just, pull up a chair, get the TV on,
Chip in a chair.
hop into Discord, get your favorite beverage. You will enjoy it. Anything else?
Nope.
Special thank you to our Patreon supporters at the $10 level and above: Britt Treese, Brian Smith, Ryan Demore, Tristan Ben Smith, Parker Daddy JD, Tim Keens, Tyler Harsel, Brandon Garofalo, Brandon Hanks, Matthew Tilley, and Luis Hernandez. Thank you.
Baron
Davis.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. You can find this podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We're on Twitter at Mizzou Sports Pod, and you can email us at MissouriSportsPod@gmail.com.
You can find our t-shirts and stickers on our online shop, MissouriSportsPod.BigCartel.com.
Thank you everyone for listening. We will see you next week. After win.